Hi guys, today I'm gonna take a photo walk with my good friend Alex here.
Hi guys.
I don't know, a little bit like a dilapidated old traffic sign in the tree. I don't know if it's interesting or not, but I'll take a picture anyway, because I can. Is that a swan? That's gonna be the wildlife photography of the year or something.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a photo of a swan?
But before we start seriously taking any more pictures, why don't you tell me which camera you brought today? I know you have several cameras, but which one you brought today?
Today I have, I guess somebody would call it old, but hopefully gold, Sony A7R II, the trusty.
Wow, lots of megapixels.
Yeah, lots of megapixels today. I don't know, just because I felt like a lot of megapixels today.
Sometimes it's like that, but I think it's a coincidence, funny coincidence. I have a Sony camera too. My camera is not mine, this is on loan, and I'm just testing it. And I have a Samyang lens. You had an interesting lens on yours, which...
Just to counterbalance the megapixel thing, just so that it's not a megapixel competition here. I've got a 12 megapixel little point and shoot here also. So it's not all about megapixels, guys.
But
Yeah.
tell me about tell us about the zoom lens you have on your A7. That looks really interesting.
I have something that actually should belong on your camera.
Is that like a kit lens for this camera?
This is the kit lens for the A7C.
Ah, interesting.
But I don't actually own the A7C. But what happened is when I saw that released, I knew that very soon there'll be people out there who want to get rid of their kit lens. And nobody wants their kit lenses. But this is actually a really, really good kit lens.
It looks really nice.
And I always love small, compact kit lenses. And immediately when I saw this on sale for used good price, I went for it. And it's at least today, my walk around lens.
Don't you just love these colors? The green against the blue. I think it looks really, really nice.
It's really, really cool looking.
Yes. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, I guess, but it just looks really, really pretty.
Yeah, it's just very pleasing, somehow so refreshing.
Yes. Now we have been walking, but as it often happens when you walk with someone or photo walk with someone, it turns out to be more socializing than actually photographing, and we decided to take a break here because it's such a pretty evening here or afternoon here in Helsinki. But talking about Helsinki, you have spent a lot of time in India, for example. How do you see, or what do you think are the major differences when you take pictures in, for example, India compared to Helsinki, because those two countries are quite different?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's probably oversimplifying if I talk about it, but I would sum it up followingly, that actually, maybe a little bit surprisingly, photographing in India, I feel more free and more relaxed. And it's easier for me to approach people and ask to photograph them, and it's easier to do street photography, for example, than it is here in Finland.
I feel the same way, and because I'm a tourist, I think it kind of gives me more valid reason to approach people when I'm a tourist, then that's a reason enough.
I think that's a really good point, and that's definitely one aspect of it. I agree with that. Then the other thing is that train going to disturb our audio?
I don't know, there's a train track going right there, so that's why you may hear some train sounds.
Anyway, I feel that the concept of privacy is different. Surprisingly, I feel that here in Finland they're more private, and I feel that on the street, for example, I don't feel as comfortable photographing people here. I feel people will more easily find it intrusive than in India.
Yes, and I think, all in all, I think a so-called Western culture, people are more suspicious also. Right away they think, what are you going to do with those pictures? I don't know, never been to India, but at least in Malaysia, where I've spent some time, people over there are much less suspicious. They even come to you and ask you to take their picture, which is really like odd.
Yeah, totally. It happens to me all the time when I'm photographing. People actually come up to me wanting me to take their photograph, pose with me, and look through the photographs together. That almost never happens here. There's an open-mindedness in that sense more. Here there is definitely more suspicion of people with cameras. It's like, what is this freak doing there with his camera kind of feeling.
So, Alex, what do you think? Is that picture, is it going to be worth 42 megapixels?
You know, it's a good question. Probably, if I'm honest, since this will probably go on Instagram today, 2 megapixels would be enough.
So you have 40 like extra pixels, 40 megapixels extra there. You can crop a lot.
I can crop a lot, yeah. I have a lot to play with somehow to release my artistic vision.
When I was asking about your camera, I mentioned that you have many cameras. Actually, I don't know how many you have, but I know you have something else than the Sony. What do you have and what's your favorite camera?
So it's quite a hard question, actually. I mean, I've always had cameras coming and going a lot, and I've used many systems. I probably used almost every system out there, so I have a pretty good idea how they work for me and how they don't work for me. Probably the only one that I haven't used is Pentax. I would say pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And I use all different sensor sizes, and of course my background originally is in film photography. So I started with film. So film is not unfamiliar to me. I use film. But to make a long story short.
I was just going to ask, who's interested in your film background anyway?
Nobody cares.
Yes.
But you got to establish your credibility. So you got to get it in there, right?
All right. Get to the point.
Get to the point. Get to the megapixels. Well, okay. One of my favorite cameras at the moment, which I almost picked today, is my Fuji X-H1.
X-H1,
which might be a surprise because everybody's on about the XT series.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, everybody knows that they released the X-H1, which came at the wrong time because then they released the XT3, which basically had better specs than X-H1, which was supposed to be the flagship camera.
Yes.
But what I love about the X-H1 is somehow its build. It's kind of a
big for APS-C.
For APS-C, it's big. Actually, that was one of the complaints, that it's too big. But to me, like somebody said somewhere, like it's not big. It's a camera-sized camera, and that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I have other cameras which are small. Like I showed, I have a point and shoot. So I have other cameras that will serve that purpose. But the Fuji somehow, I think it's X-H1 strikes a really nice balance. IBIS 5-axis, which was their first.
Yes.
And then it has the top LCD plate and
really
everything,
nice.
which is really nice if you kind of have your background in old DSLRs.
Yeah, but you can see all the settings right away, even without kind of turning on the camera.
Exactly, and in the dark and so on. So, along with all the tactile controls and so on. So I really like that camera, and for me that was a game changer from Fuji. That's when I realized that I could actually use Fuji for so to say serious work I felt comfortable with it. The only downside, which everybody knows, is its battery life, which is the problem with
I
this
didn't
one.
know that.
You didn't know that. Now you know. But it's a great deal also, by the way. You can get them used for really good prices.
Because nobody likes them.
Yeah, somehow it became like it fell in between the cracks as a camera. But it's a great camera. I highly recommend looking into it.
All right, maybe I have to take a look at it too now that I'm free. Let's make a portrait here.
All right, get my ugly mug into the picture.
Yes. I'm trying to get the background right here. I think the autofocus on this Sony is just something like a magic or something. It's just so sticky and finds your eyes right away. And
I guess it's quite a lot more advanced than my A7R2, right?
Probably. Okay. Look at me, if you can. 35mm, not the best portrait lens, but this is kind of
Not allowed. Has to be 85 millimeters or higher. I actually wanted to ask about your camera. I think this is the first time I see it live in the wild.
Yes, this is the A7C, like you said at the beginning of this video, and this is on loan from Sony Finland. I'm just testing the camera and I really like it so far. The only real bummer is that in Europe you can't get the black version. I think this looks like
Like a toy?
let's just put it some in polite way. It doesn't look very good. I really would like to have the black version, but that's impossible. Of course, this camera is not mine, so it doesn't matter. But if I was to buy this camera, I can't get the black here.
Oh,
it's
really?
only in the United States and in some other markets, which is, I don't know what's the reasoning behind something like that, but it's really stupid. I think it just doesn't look very good like this.
Yeah, definitely you should have the choice somehow, because many
Yeah.
people do prefer traditional black
Yes.
version to the silver one. I also, even with my Fuji cameras, I prefer the black ones, even though
Yes.
many people like the silver and black.
Yes, but black is the only color for camera. I mean, there's no question about that.
I think so. I think so too. I always thought the silver looks maybe a little bit hokey somehow.
Yeah.
I always thought that my life as a photographer would be something wild and dangerous, maybe on the streets of.
These are not even wild flowers, you know.
That's true.
Wow, it has a viewfinder and everything.
Everything, viewfinder, zoom, 12 megapixels,
You name it.
tiny viewfinder, which I can barely see anything with my old eyes. but
What did you see there when you pulled out the serious camera?
I saw the clouds breaking, the sunbeam coming beautifully on the church.
You saw the
dome.
light.
I saw the light and I realized that this is the moment. I'm wondering, seeing those dark clouds over there,
Yes.
is your camera weather sealed?
Actually, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I think because it's not my camera, I think it's better play safe and call it a day, because if it starts to rain and if this is not weather sealed, then I'd hate to ruin someone else's camera. The lens is weather sealed, but I'm not sure about the camera body. Is your camera weather sealed?
This is weather sealed, but I think Sony's older weather sealing wasn't supposedly that good. I've had this out in the slight rain and so on. I've never
Yeah.
had problems, but I wouldn't take too much risks with it. Actually, this kit lens, surprisingly, is weather sealed also.
Maybe this body is too, because if that is a kit lens for this camera, maybe this is weather sealed. But
Makes sense.
honestly, I don't know. So
Go online, check before you take it out.
yes, and now I think we head home. The sun and light went away, and it might rain. So thanks for joining in for this short photo walk with me and Alexi, and see you in the next one.
Ciao.